we'll head on to the next data structure, which is a dictionary. So dictionary is quite different when we compare it with a tuple or a list. Now that is because it is an unordered collection of key value pairs. So list and tuple were an ordered collection, but a dictionary is an unordered collection. And this unordered collection is enclosed within a pair of curly braces. Also, dictionary is mutable. This means that if you create some elements inside this dictionary, you can go ahead and modify it. So this is the example of how can we create a dictionary in Python. So first you will just give in a name for this dictionary. Now, as I said, this has a key value pair. So apple over here would be the key and 10 is the value for it. Similarly, we've got orange, which is the key, 20 is the value for it, right? So you have different key value pairs inside a dictionary. Now let's go ahead and create a dictionary in Python. So let me just change this to dictionary over here. So I'll name this dictionary to be fruit, and let me just give in some values over here. So let's say the name of the first fruit is apple and its cost is 50. After apple, we've got a banana. So I'll type in banana over here and the cost of banana is 30 bucks. And then we've got an orange. So let me type orange over here and the cost of orange is 40. Now going ahead, let's say I like peaches. So I'll type in peach over here and then the cost of a peach is 100 bucks. Right, so we have successfully created this dictionary. Now just to be sure, let me just check the type of it. So type of fruit. And as you see, this is of type dictionary. Now we'll see how can we extract keys and values from a dictionary. So if you want to extract only the keys, then we've got the keys method. So we'll use the name of the dictionary and then we'll use the dot operator. We'll follow it up with the keys method. Similarly, if you want to extract values, we have the values method. So we'll type in fruit, we'll use the dot operator and then we'll use the values method. So over here, I am extracting all of the keys and over here, I am extracting all of the values. Let's perform the same operation in Jupyter Notebook. So I'll type in fruit dot keys. So I have extracted only the keys, which are apple, banana, orange and peach. Now if I want to extract all of the values, so I'll type in fruit dot values. And you see that I've extracted the values, which are 50, 30, 40 and 100. So if I want to extract all the items, then there's this method known as items. So I'll type in fruit dot items. So this will basically give me this entire dictionary over here, right? Apple 50, banana 30, orange 40 and peach 100. Now we'll see how can we modify the existing values of a dictionary, because obviously dictionary is a mutable type of data structure. So over here, I only have 4 elements, but I want to add one more key value pair inside this. So I will give in the name of the dictionary first, and inside parenthesis, I will give in the new key and I will assign the value to this. So initially there was no mango, but then again I am adding mango as a key and I'm assigning the value of 50 to it. So we see that we have successfully added this new key value pair. Similarly, if we have to change an existing element, so over here the initial value of apple was 10. So I want to change that value from 10 to 100. So over here I am assigning the value for apple to be 100 and we see that this has been changed from 10 to 100. So let me go ahead and modify this dictionary. So let me just print out fruit again over here for our convenience. Now I want to add a new key value pair. So fruit, we see that we don't have mango over here. I'll add in parenthesis and I'll put in single quotes over here. So I'll give in the name of the key, which is mango. I'll use the equal to symbol and I'll give in the value for this. Well, seems like this is not the mango season and that is why they cost a lot. So apparently they cost 200 bucks. Now let me print out fruit. So as we see, we have successfully added this new element into this dictionary. So now I actually want to go ahead and modify an existing value. So initially the value of apple is 50. I want to change it to 10. So I'll type in fruit over here and inside this I will give in the name of the key, which is apple. And I'll assign it a value. So the value which I'm assigning to it is equal to 10. Now again, I'll just type in fruit over here. So you see that we have changed the value of apple from 50 to 10. Now we'll see how can we work with different dictionary functions. So first we've got the update function over here. So let's say if I want to update one dictionary with another dictionary. So we've got fruit 1 and fruit 2. So let's say if I want to add these elements inside fruit 1 as well, or I want to update fruit 1 with elements of fruit 2, I will type in the first dictionary and then I'll use a dot operator and then I'll use the update method and pass in the next value of the dictionary, which is fruit. So we have appended these values of fruit into fruit 1, right? So initially it was just apple and orange, but using the update method I have also added these two key value pairs into fruit 1. Now the next operation would be popping an element. So to pop an element, all we have to use is the pop method. So if I want to pop out a particular key value pair, then inside this pop method I will give in the key of it. So I want to pop out this orange 20 key value pair, so I'll just give in the orange value over here and we see that this has been popped out. Now let me go ahead and perform the same operations. So I will type in fruit 1 over here and I'll give in two key value pairs over here. So the first key value pair would be apple and the cost is 50. Then we've got a banana. So let me just type in banana over here and the cost of banana seems to be 10 bucks. So we've got fruit 1 ready. Now let me go ahead and also create fruit 2. So the values inside fruit 2 would be, first we've got a mango over here. So I'll type in mango and the cost of mango is 100. After mango we've got, let's say, dragon fruit. So I'll type in dragon fruit over here and the cost of dragon fruit is 500. Now I want to update the values of fruit 1 with fruit 2. So fruit 1 dot update and then I'll also pass in fruit 2 inside it. So fruit 2. Now let me print fruit 1. So as we see, these values have been updated into fruit 1. So I got apple, banana, mango and dragon fruit. Now after this, we had to see how to pop out a specific key value pair. So I don't really like mangoes, so I'll just go ahead and remove the mango from here. So I'll type in fruit 1 dot pop and inside this I'll give in the key value, which is mango. Now I will type in fruit. So we get this 100 value because this means that this key value pair has been popped out. I'll just type in fruit 1 and this key value pair comprising of mango and 100 has been popped out. Now we'll look at the last data structure in Python, which is a set. So a set is an unordered and unindexed collection of elements enclosed within curly braces. So when I say unindexed, you can't really access the individual elements using an index. So this is a problem when it comes to set. So another point to note in a set is duplicate values are not allowed inside a set, right? So you can't have any duplicates inside. And this is how you create a set. So S1 and then you have this curly braces, and obviously since it's a heterogeneous data structure, you can have elements of different data types. So the only thing you have to keep in mind is you cannot put in duplicates inside it. So let me create a set. So I'll type in S1. Let me give in these curly braces over here. So I'll start off with a numeric value and then I will give a string value, which is Sparta. Now let me see what happens if I actually repeat elements inside this. So I'll type in Sparta again and I'll type in. Now let me print out S1. So you see that duplicates have not been given in the final result, right? Now let's see how can we add a new element to a set. So all you have to do is use the add method over here. So s1.add and I am adding this new element hello. Now similarly, if we have to update our set with multiple elements, then we can use this update method. So I am adding these list of elements inside this. So see that 10, 20 and 30 has been added to this. Now again, the order is random because this is unindexed and unordered. Now if you have to remove an element, then all you have to do is use this remove method and then give in the element which you want to remove. So let's work with all of these. So now let me print out S1 over here again. So this is what we have. Now I want to add a new element inside this. So I'll just type in s1 dot add, and I want to add hello world. So hello world. Now let me print out s1. Right, so I have successfully added this. So we see that since this is unordered, this hello world can be inserted at any point in this set. Now if I want to add multiple elements inside this, I should use the update method. So I'll type in s1 dot update, and I will pass in a list of values. So I want ABC, then I want Jack. After that I'll pass in 3.14. So these are the values which I want inside this. Now let me print in s1 again. Right, so ABC has been added, Jack has been added, and also 3.14 has been added. Now again the order is totally random over here. Right, now if I want to remove an element, then it will be s1 dot remove, and inside this I just have to give in the value of the element. So I don't like pi very much, so I'll just type in 3.14. Now let me see what does the result. So you see that we have successfully removed 3.14 from the set. Now we'll look at two functions. So one is the union function, and then we've got the intersection function. So in union function, we basically concatenate two sets. So we've got s1 over here, and then we've got s2 over here. So when we use the union method, so all we are doing is we are joining or concatenating the elements of these two sets. And then if we want to find out the common elements present in a set, then we can use the intersection method. So over here we've got s1 and s2, and I just have to type in s1 dot intersection, and inside this I'll pass in s2. So we'll get the elements which are common to these two sets. So the elements are 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 are common to these two sets, and that is the result of this intersection method. So let me create s1 over here. So the values in s1 would be 1, 2, and 3. Then I'll also create s2. So the values in s2 would be a, b, and c. So we've got a, we've got b, and then we've also got c over here. So these two are ready. Now I would just have to use the union operator. So I'll type in s1 dot union, and I will pass in s2 inside this. So we see that we have successfully concatenated these two sets. Now if I want to find out the common elements, so I'll just create another two sets over here. So this time the values in s1 would be, let me just write it properly, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I've got s2 over here. So this time the values in s2 would be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we've got these two ready. Now if I want to find out the common values, so I'll just type in s1 dot intersection and s2. So the common values between s1 and s2 are 3, 4, and 5. So these are some of the common methods and operations with respect to sets. So we've looked at all of the basic data structures. Now we'll work with if statements in Python. So we've already seen it when we were understanding about what exactly is programming, right? So we've understood the if statement from the point of a concept. It's pretty simple. So you basically have a condition, and on the basis of that condition, you decide either you choose option 1 or option 2. Or you might have more than one option, or more than 2, or more than 3 options. So basically you have multiple options, and you have to choose any one of those options. So it's either this or that or something else. So if else. So again, it's the same example over here. If it is raining, then obviously you can't play football. You'd have to sit inside and maybe watch Netflix. But on the other hand, if it is not raining, then you can go and play football. So this is how the if statement works. So now we'll work with our first if statement. So what I'll do is I'll actually create two variables over here. So I'll name the first variable to be a, and I'll assign it a value of 10. And then I'll give in a second variable and I'll assign it a value of 20. So we've got these two variables ready. Now I want to check if the value of a is actually greater than b. and if that is true, I want to do something. So if A is greater than B, given this condition, then I'll put in this colon and I'll hit enter. So now we'd have to make sure that the indentation is proper, right? So here, this space which you see, this has to be given over here, else it'll give you an error, right? So I'll just click on enter over here, and then I will given what has to happen. So if A is greater than B, then I have to print out A is greater than B. Now let's see what happens. So this condition has evaluated to false. That means A is not greater than B, or in other words, 10 is not greater than 20, and hence the statement which follows the if clause is not printed. Now I'll check the opposite. So this time I will check if B is greater than A. So if this is true, then I'd have to print B is greater than A. So you see that this condition has been evaluated to true, and whatever follows after this condition has been printed. So this is how the if statement works. So now I actually want to print something even if the condition is evaluated to false. So this is when I can use the else clause. So I'll do the same thing. I'll just type in if A is greater than B. So if A is greater than B, then I want to print A is greater than B. But since this will be evaluated to false, I will give in the else clause over here. So else, again, this has to be followed with a colon. Now I will print A is not greater than B, and I'll click on run. So we see that we get this result, A is not greater than B. So this is how we can work with if else clause. Now we also have something known as else if. So if we have multiple conditions to check, that is when we can use else if. So in Python it is known as ELIF. So let's work with that as well. Now let's say I've got three numbers over here. So I've got 10, which has been stored in the variable A. Then 20 is stored in B. Then I've got 30, which is stored in C. So I've got 10, 20 and 30. Now I want to check which is the greatest number out of all these. So I'll give in the first condition. So the first condition would be if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then I'd have to print A is the greatest. So I'll just type in greatest over here. And if this fails, I have the elif condition over here. Else if I am going to check if B is greater than A and also B is greater than C. So this will check these two conditions. So if B is greater than A and B is greater than C, then I'll be printing out B is the greatest. Now if both these conditions fail, then I'll just use the final else clause and I will print out C is the greatest. Now let's see what do we get. So the result is C is the greatest. So let's understand this properly. So we have this first condition over here. So we are checking if A is greater than B and A is greater than C. So is 10 greater than 20? No, it's false. Again, we are checking if 10 is greater than 30. Again, that is false. So false and false is evaluated to false, and that is why this statement is not executed. Then we come to this elif clause, and here we are checking if B is greater than A. So is 20 greater than 10? That is true. Then again we are checking if B is greater than C. So we are checking if 20 is greater than 30, which is false. So true and false will again evaluate to false. That is why this is also skipped. Now since both of these conditions fail, we'll come to the final else clause and we'll just print out C is the greatest. So this is how we can choose among many options with the help of if else. Now we'll see how can we use these conditional statements with a tuple, list and dictionary. So I'll create a tuple over here. So tup1, and let me store some values inside this tuple. So let's say I've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now I want to check if an element is present inside this tuple. So I'll type in if 2 in tup1. This means that if 2 is present in tup1, then I just want to print 2 is present in the tuple. Let me see what do we get, right? So 2 is present, and that is why we get this result. Now, if let me just check if 6 is present. So if 6 in tuple 1, print 6 is present in tuple. And if this is not true, then again I'll go back to else, and then I'll print out 6 is not present in the tuple. So we get this result. Since 6 is not present in this tuple, this is what is printed. Now similarly, we'll work with the if statement with the list. So if with list, I'm just adding a comment over here. Now again, I'll create a list and I'll name this list to be equal to L1. So I'll put in square braces over here. Let me give in some values. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I've got this particular list over here. Now I actually want to update a value in this list. So I want to check if the value which is present at index number 1 is equal to 2. And if it is actually equal to 2, then I want to add 100 more to it. So if L1, right? So this is index number 1 actually, right? So this is index number 1. If L1 of 1 is equal to 2, then I want to update it. So L1 of 1 would be equal to, this would be L1 of 1 plus 100. So I have updated this. Now let me print out L1 over here, right? So since this is the value which is present at index number 1 is actually equal to 2, we were able to successfully update it. Now let's modify this. Now let's say I want to modify this over here. So this is at index number 4, right? So I want to check if the value which is present at index number 4 is equal to 10. So if it is equal to 10, then I want to add 100 to it. But on the other hand, if it is not equal to 10, then I want to add 500 to it. So L1 of index number 4 is equal to L1 of index number 4 plus I'd have to add 5. Now let me just print out L1, right? Since this condition was evaluated to false, that is the value which was present at index number 4 is not equal to 10, we came to the else condition and then we added 500 more to this last element and then it became 505. Right, now we will combine if with a dictionary. I'll add a comment again. So if with dictionary. Now let me create a dictionary over here. So I'll name this dictionary to be D1. Let me add in some values. So let's say the key is A over here and the value is 1. Then we've got the next key to be equal to B and the value is, let's say, 2. And then we've got C over here and the value for C is 3. So we've got this particular dictionary over here. Now I want to check if the value for the key B is equal to 2. And if it is equal to 2, then I want to add 100 more to it. So if D1 of B, so if this is equal to 2, then I want to add, so D1 of B would be equal to D1 of B plus 100. Now let me print out this new dictionary over here. Right, so initially the value of the key B was equal to 2 and using this if condition I was able to add 100 more to it.